So growing up, I used to ride my skateboard all the time, and I actually have it here today. This is a skateboard I had when I was in middle school and high school, and my best friend and I, we used to skateboard together. And it was so much fun, man, because we were kind of on the same level. Like, I could do some things he couldn't do, he could do some things I couldn't do. But now here's the thing, every time I landed a trick that he couldn't do, man, it felt good, right? Like, I felt like I was gonna go pro any day. I felt like I was the better skater. But then sometimes he landed tricks that I couldn't do. And what was that about? Like, I was the one that was gonna be pro. I got frustrated, man. Have you ever gotten frustrated because your friend was doing something better than you? Have you ever felt frustrated when your friend gets the part that you wanted in the musical? Or maybe gets a better grade than you did on the test? Or maybe they get a role in the starting lineup and you gotta sit on the bench? You know, we should be happy for our friends when they do something well, but when they do something better than us, why is it so hard to be happy for them? Why do we feel like that? I think what we're feeling in those moments is pride. Our pride, when we're doing well, tells us that we're better than them and that we should celebrate that and maybe rub it in a little bit. But then when they do better than us, man, our pride tells us to get frustrated and jealous instead of being happy for them. So what do we do when our pride gets the best of us? What do we do when our pride starts to make us feel jealous and frustrated? Over the last few weeks, we've been diving into Colossians 3:12 and just pulling out some practical wisdom that we can apply to our lives. And man, this is an amazing passage. I fully believe that if you put everything into practice in this verse, man, it will change your life and the lives of people around you. So let's take a moment, let's dive back into Colossians 3:12. It says, since God chose you to be the holy people he loves, pause there. If you need to hear this right now, God chose you and he loves you. God chose you and he loves you. If you need to hear that today, I want you to hear that. And because God chose you and he loves you, you must clothe yourselves with tender-hearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Paul is saying that followers of Jesus need to choose humility. When you feel prideful, choose humility. And now I know what you're probably thinking, Joe, what if I really am the GOAT, right? What if my pride is actually pretty accurate and I'm really the best on my team? I'm really the best in the musical. Here's the thing, man. In Proverbs chapter 11, verse 2, Solomon, one of the wisest people who ever lived, gives us this caution about following our pride. This is what it says. Pride leads to disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. Pride leads to disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. If you let pride get the best of you in those moments, you'll end up either tearing another person down or tearing yourself down. When you let pride tell you that you're better than someone else, you end up tearing them down. And when you let pride get the best of you when someone's doing better than you tear yourself down. You frustrate yourself. Our pride can lead us to hurt other people around us. It can lead us to burn friendships instead of building them. And it can lead us feeling frustrated and hurt. Is that really the best way to live? Is following your pride really the best way to live? You know, one of the things that I love about your generation is that you care so much about other people. So does Jesus. And that's why in this verse in Colossians that we just read, everything that it tells us to do has to do with how we treat other people. Because Jesus cares about other people. And he cares about how you treat other people. And so when your pride is telling you to put someone else down, you need to choose humility instead. Because right, notice that Paul didn't say, as God's chosen people, you should get good grades. As God's chosen people, you should be the best on your team. Those things are great. Achievements are great. Don't hear me say that you shouldn't succeed, that you shouldn't do well in life. But what Paul is saying, what is most important is people. And so don't sacrifice people for achievements. Don't put achievements over people. So if your pride is telling you to put others down to make yourself feel better, choose humility. sometimes we don't know what humility really looks like. And I want to warn you that humility does not mean that you can't have accomplishments. Humility does not mean that you can't do well in school, on your team, in the play. It does not mean that you can't try and do well. Humility also doesn't mean that you have to put yourself down, that you have to have a low self-esteem, that you have to have no confidence. That is not what humility means. Remember, God chose you and He loves you. You can have confidence in who God created you to be because He chose you and He loves you. So what does humility actually look like practically? Well, humility means celebrating others when they achieve something. Instead of getting bitter and jealous, you celebrate your friends when they do well. And then you go up to them. If they did something better than you, you go up to them and you say, hey, you did a great job. Can you teach me how you did that? Can you help me get better? Because here's the thing, pride means that you think you know it all. Pride makes you think that you already know it all. Humility is when you recognize, I don't know it all. You don't know it all. I don't know it all. So why are we pretending? Why are we faking and acting like we know everything? Humility recognizes, I can learn from this person. I can let them teach me how to get better. Pride hurts others and prevents us from getting better, whereas humility celebrates others, it celebrates their achievements, and it allows you to learn and grow so that you can get better as an athlete, get better in school, get better as a performer. Which one sounds like a better way to live? Pride or humility? This week, ask yourself, do I want to follow my pride or do I want to follow humility?